In the past, I made a wand documentary that covered all of the wand materials, woods, cores, the lot. I even discussed wand flexibility and size, and how those things can be indicative of the type of wizard wielding the wand. But what I strangely never touched on was wand creation, or rather, construction. How are wands actually made? And what makes this question increasingly interesting is just how few wand makers there are in the wizarding world. Sure, it's possible that we only see a handful of wand makers in the series, but among the ones we do encounter, it almost feels as though they hold a kind of monopoly. And if they're truly skilled enough to command that level of dominance, then it only makes me even more curious about what exactly it is they're doing behind the scenes. Today we'll be discussing the enigmatic process of wand making, and hopefully unpacking what it is that makes wand makers like Ollivander so special. Let's dive into it. Hey everyone, welcome to another installment of Harry Potter Theory. The importance of wands in Harry Potter has been emphasized to suggest that, essentially, no witch or wizard, no matter how powerful or weak, is complete without their wand. The wand chooses the wizard. That much has always been clear to those of us who have studied wand lore. If you are any wizard at all, you'll be able to channel your magic through almost any instrument. The best results, however, must always come where there is the strongest affinity between wizard and wand. These connections are complex, an initial attraction, and then a mutual quest for experience. The wand learning from the wizard from the wand. And from the day the pairing of wand and witch and wizard first occurs, the wand becomes more and more a vital part of their existence. The wand and wand owner establish an almost symbiotic relationship. Although technically inanimate objects, the wands of witches and wizards in Harry Potter are often thought of as having sentient capabilities, meaning that they are able to consciously observe, react, and emote in certain situations. Of course, I'm not suggesting that wands are capable of complex thoughts or even the ability to think in the same way as other magical sentient items like the sorting hat. But what I am saying, however, is that wands are not simply sticks made of wood that people wave about in order to produce magic. Quite the contrary. Instead, those who have dedicated their lives to understanding the magical capabilities of wands, such as famed British wand maker Mr. Garrick Ollivander, have found that when wands are made with high-quality materials, they have the ability to actually learn, teach, and even make choices similar to human beings. They really are incredible enigmatic objects, and this just makes me even more curious about how it is that they are constructed. Considered to be a complex and mysterious branch of magic, wand making refers to a wand maker using wand cores and woods to construct wands for witches and wizards. The profession dates back many centuries, and the earliest known wand makers were said to have been druids. A druid was considered to be, in Celtic times, a member of the learned and priestly class. Druids considered anything with a woody stem to be a tree, which led to them producing wands out of things like vine, a tradition followed by Ollivander in the 20th century. Though druids were skilled at their craft, at this stage in history, it was still totally normal for a customer of a wand shop to bring their own core with them, a tradition that has basically fallen off in more recent times. The first wand-making shops were known to date back to the establishment of Ollivander's wand shop in 382 BC. The original Ollivander, the ancestor of Garrick Ollivander, was thought to have come from a Mediterranean country in Roman times and set up a stall in what would eventually become Diagon Alley. Interestingly, 382 BC actually predates Diagon Alley by quite some time, so it's possible that the wand shop was the original attraction. The etymology of the name Ollivander is said to literally mean "he who owns the olive wand," which is a very fitting name and further points to him coming from a Mediterranean country where olive trees would grow natively. The Ollivander family revolutionized wand making when they publicly forsook the traditional wand making process, which previously had witches and wizards procure their own wand core. Ollivander believed that this process produced wands that were inferior in quality and performance, which led to the family procuring all wand components for future customers. Ollivander researched the best wand cores and would always find the best wand wood to complement it, and where the purchaser would previously select a wand of their choosing, he began the tradition of having the wand choose the wizard. As we all know, wands come in a variety of shapes, colors, sizes, flexibilities, and materials. The main parameters that differentiate each wand are as follows: length, flexibility, wood type, and lastly, core type. And each element is just as important as the last. Length generally pertains to the size and/or character of the witch or wizard. Most wands are between 9 to 15 inches long. Wand makers often match the wand length to the height of the witch or wizard who will use it, but Ollivander considers this measure inadequate. In his experience, longer than average wands tend to be drawn to those with a physical peculiarity or a bigger personality, whereas abnormally short ones select people whose character lacks in something. Flexibility is also important. Wand flexibility or rigidity denotes the degree of adaptability and willingness to change possessed by the wand and owner pair, although again, this factor ought not to be considered separately from the wand wood, core and length, nor of the owner's life experience and style of magic, all of which will combine to make the wand in question unique. With length and flexibility out of the way, let's move on to the big stuff: woods and cores. The wood used in a wand is the component with the highest variability, as there are 38 different types available. The number of different wood materials used to make wands make them very personal, and is one of the reasons that one wand can look so unlike the next. Only a minority of trees can produce wand-quality wood, just as a minority of humans can produce magic. It takes years of experience to tell which ones have the gift, although the job is made easier if bowtruckles are found nesting in the leaves, as they never inhabit mundane trees. The next and equally essential component of any wand is its core. Like the wood, the wand core will act as an extension of the wizard themselves, allowing them to properly tap into their most powerful innate magical abilities. Ollivander has a tendency to utilize 3 primary wand cores: Phoenix, Unicorn, and Dragon. But it's worth noting that there are plenty of other options out there that he chooses not to use. Early in my career, as I watched my wandmaker father wrestling with substandard wand core materials such as kelpie hair, I conceived the ambition to discover the finest cores and to work only with those when my time came to take over the family business. This I have done. After much experimentation and research, I concluded that only 3 substances produce wands of the quality to which I am happy to give the illustrious name of Ollivander: unicorn hair, dragon heartstring, and phoenix feather. Each of these costly and rare materials has its own distinct properties. Okay, so wands have woods, cores, varying flexibilities, and varying sizes. With that established, now we must move on to the next big question. How are they actually constructed? Unfortunately for us, this process is never explicitly detailed in any canon resource, and given the monopoly that Ollivander has on wands, I'm sure he wouldn't be thrilled at the prospect of openly sharing his ancient family secrets. However, there are a few clues hinted at by both Ollivander himself as well as J.K. Rowling that might set us on the right path. One of the clearest clues comes from Ollivander's reflections on his early life. He mentions watching his father wrestle certain core materials into wands. Even though no details are provided, the implication is obvious. Incorporating a magical core into a piece of wand wood is not a simple physical task. It isn't like sliding a feather or a hair into a hollowed-out stick. The core itself has magical traits, sometimes unstable, sometimes resistant, and occasionally downright uncooperative. And it's not just about the core, as the wood too possesses its own magical character. Getting the two to fuse requires expertise, patience, and almost certainly a series of enchantments designed to bring the materials into harmony. Another telling detail comes from what we know about unicorn hair wands. That particular core is known to weaken over time if neglected, and at a certain point, it may need to be swapped out entirely. This small bit of lore reveals something crucial. Wand makers must have a method of opening or separating a finished wand without destroying it, removing the depleted core and installing a fresh one. And whatever technique they use, I suspect that it much more heavily relies on magic rather than carpentry, because the wand must retain its structural integrity and its identity after repairs. Put these details together and a picture of a magical integration process begins to form. The wand maker must prepare the wood so that it's receptive to the core, channel or bind the core material into place using spells to align it with the wood, stabilize the fusion so the wand becomes a single, unified magical instrument, and enchant the completed wand so it can begin bonding with a future owner. Although these specifics are kept secret, the hints we do have suggest a craft that requires both magical strength and emotional intuition. Wand cores are often described as having temperaments, and if that's true, then the wand maker must in some way work with the core to coax it into the wood. Another argument on the other side of things is that wand making actually does rely more on traditional woodworking than on magical technique. That wands, although extremely complex in nature, are produced not much differently than, say, a pencil. Modern wooden pencils are typically made in bulk by shaping large cedar blocks into thin panels. These panels are then carved with multiple shallow channels that match the size of the graphite cores, which are then laid into each groove. Another panel, also grooved, is glued on top to enclose the cores. Once the adhesive sets, the combined panels are run through cutters that shape the wood and separate it into individual pencils. The joint between the two panels is smoothed out, and the pencils are coated with layers of paint so the finished product looks like a single, solid piece. If this is the case, perhaps the truly intricate component isn't Ollivander's woodworking ability, but in his discerning skill for matching the right core to the right wood. And if that still isn't the full explanation, then I suppose the answer might be even simpler. Perhaps specialized binding spells, known only to Ollivander's family, are used to fuse the components together. Magic in the wizarding world tends to have a solution for nearly everything, even problems far more obscure or niche than assembling a wand. What do you think? How does Ollivander construct his wands? I'd love to hear what you all think down in the comment section below. If you enjoy the content, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. Until next time, remember, it does not do to dwell on dreams and forget to live.